welcome to Live to Move's dance vlog. My aim with this vlog is to create a space to talk and discuss different aspects of dance in South Africa. Today, we'll be chatting with a highly talented breakdancer and digital content creator. A warm welcome to our first guest, Leon, or known on social media as LabstarG. Hello,
Hi.
Leon. Thank
Hi.
you for joining me to discuss dancing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Let's jump in.
Let's go.
What is breakdancing and how does it differ from other forms of street dancing?
So breakdancing is one of the original elements of hip-hop, and I don't think it's too different from any other street style. The only major difference, I think, to many other styles is that we go down to the floor. Yeah, that would make it's very iconic.
How were you introduced to breakdancing and what intrigued you about the style?
So what really captured me when I was a youngster about breaking was my father was taking me to do kung fu classes, and then I got Tekken 3, which had this capoeira guy, Eddie Gordo, doing some capoeira stuff, and then I think a bit of kung fu and capoeira sort of got me into the direction of breaking. My grandfather was also a performer and an entertainer, so I knew about stage and performing. And then yeah, he recorded a VH1 TV show, and on it there was a music video with breakdancing. The song was Days Go By Dirty Vegas, and after I saw that I was like, that's what I want to do, and yeah, it kind of went from there.
Oh, that's quite interesting. So you were inspired by a video and you inspire younger students with your moves and skills. What is the transition from being a dancer to teacher been like for you?
So transitioning from a performer to a teacher was actually the best part of all of this. Originally, I told myself I'm going to spend 10 years performing, competing, and trying to become the best I can be. And then after that 10 years, I decided it was time for me to share that knowledge. I think when you jump into the teacher role, it's a very different role. It's not like performing. You actually become a learner again. And while you're teaching, you're kind of ironing out your own mistakes and while teaching someone else. And yeah, I felt it was very important to pass on the knowledge, because being a street dance, it's not something that's documented or available, so I had to pass it on. Otherwise it was a great experience.
So there's not like a syllabus written down?
Yeah, so there's no syllabus written down. When I started in 2002, I mean, there was you couldn't find any videos. There was pretty much nothing. There was that little music video. That's all I had. And when it became digital, information was a little bit more easily to find. But yeah, at the time when I started, it was virtually impossible to kind of learn much about breakdancing.
What is the biggest challenge you face with teaching and inspiring a new generation of breakdancers?
I think the challenge right now is more the culture. When we didn't have internet and we didn't have TV, we were actually more outdoors and on bicycles and going to the mall. and that's kind of where hip-hop really grew, because it's at the skate park and it's at the party, and so now in this time we have everything so easily accessible. You can go on your phone and you can watch a breakdance video, but you lose out a lot on experience and just really physically being there. So I think the greatest challenge right now is to create the culture that we used to have in this digital age.
Yeah, we don't really come together.
Yes.
We stay in our separate areas.
And also it's we call it the TV generation. So the TV generation is basically all eyes on you generation. So basically now when we dance in the circle, we get so nervous because everyone's watching us. Whereas before the TV generation, everyone's just clapping and like fueling the dance off or the cipher. There was more engagement, whereas the TV generation has now almost put a spotlight. If something is happening, it's a spotlight moment. Does that make sense? Yeah, so the psychology a little bit has changed.
Yes, is it maybe like more anxiety and sort of stress?
Yes, pressure and
around
less
being the
fun.
Focus.
Yes. It used to be about having fun and expressing yourself. Express yourself,
So social media, as we've said now, it has become a big platform for many artists to express or to showcase their talents. I'd like to discuss the impact social media has on you as an artist. In what ways has social media influenced your dancing? So you started before, you said in 2002, there was no videos of things like moves, tricks, that sort of stuff. But now, as we've gone more into social media, how has that affected your dance and performing?
Yes, so coming from an era that wasn't online and just watching the transition, I was very fortunate to have done internship at Young and Rubicam in 2009. That was kind of the transition phase to Facebook and all that stuff. Young and Rubicam is a marketing advertising agency, and I was basically able to go and shadow in any department in the building, and I learned a lot about how to sell a brand, and I was doing promotions on the side. So I think the best part about social media was I was now able to use that experience and knowledge and apply it on a platform, because if there wasn't Facebook, I wouldn't be able to market my class. I would have to go to a TV station or a radio station or a magazine or a flyer to get my message out, whereas now I have a platform and there's a lot of people on the platform and I'm able to actually reach my target market, whereas before it was a little bit more physical and more demanding and manual. Yeah.
Do you find that social media influences your students? So you said already your students are a bit more anxious, a bit more scared. Are there other ways that it's influenced your students?
So I wouldn't say my students are the ones that are influenced by my content. It's more their parents, or because a lot of my students are under 18, and this new generation is less interested in social media than we are. They've got a different kind of social media. They've got the 15-second TikTok thing, whereas we've got the Instagram, Facebook thing going. So I think every generation kind of has their own thing. So where my social media actually does work is I get a lot of referrals through Instagram. I get a lot of requests for classes, for shows using my Instagram. There was a time where there were some shows where you have to have like a certain amount of followers to do some shows, and yeah, so in those ways I think social media is more impactful and more influential to new students. So it's more new students, whereas the adults, I don't, yeah, the adults are actually the ones watching, whereas my students are more into other things. I think more TikTok and their generation social media, and they don't watch me.
Do you ever get a student like coming to you with the TikTok and be like, I want to do this.
Yeah,
Teach me how to do this.
I've had that with
And
the
like,
younger ones. Like the younger ones loved it, especially during like COVID. Then what we'd do is we'd go and like find a cool choreography piece, and then I'd teach it to them, and then we'd do TikTok. So it's actually really cool because it's a fun way to like try something new and different. Um, Whereas my Instagram is just crazy tricks. Like I try and do the most craziest stuff ever, and I don't think they would want to try my TikTok.
and probably be too scared.
Yeah.
No, I'm not ready for that. So you are a successful digital content creator. What are some tools that you use to create content? You
So
said you want to do like the craziest tricks ever. What are some other things that you try and use?
I think so. With social media, I think the most important thing is to simplify. That's the first step, is to try and simplify everything. A lot of the times when we are creating some content, we put in a lot of personalization and we put a lot of effort into content, whereas content should actually be very simple and easy to digest. And I think um, behavior is another thing, another tool that I would say you use is behavior. You want someone to behave in a certain way when they see your content so that it appeals to them. So for instance, if I'm selling fun and I've got this great dance studio that sells fun, it's my duty to try and get your behavior on the fun side, so that I'm actually targeting the right market that I'm looking for. So behavior is a big one. Location is very important as well. To any business out there, you look at your sphere of influence and how far clients are coming to your business, and try and market within your location, because a lot of the times people jump into social media and it's a big ocean, and you just like, I just want a little island and I'll be happy and successful. So yeah, you kind of have to iron out your demographic, the behavior of your brand, and what people are interested in already. You kind of and you kind of have to fit in those three things. That's like if you do a Facebook boost, those are your three main things to worry about. But yeah, it's pretty much those are your important tools, those three tools to selling anything, and simplification.
Due to the large exposure on social media, as you mentioned, can be this huge ocean. Do you think it's assisted in exposing the talent that we have in South Africa?
Yes, absolutely. Um, it has grown the exposure of dance in South Africa using social media. For example, my father shot a Pansula video in Alexandra, and he basically shared it for 4 years, and now he's got 1 million views. And these dancers have now gone and performed in Dubai and done like really cool things. So there are breakthroughs, little breakthroughs that I feel there are some dancers who actually achieved the unachievable, and for the rest of us, we are still ironing and working on our content to yeah, hit that 1 million views or that big break. But yeah, social media definitely has brought the experience to your phone, you know. And yeah, if you create really good
Yes.
content, it'll go far.
What are some of the challenges for dancers and dance organizations using social media? So you mentioned, your target audience and trying to create a little like island in this vast ocean of social media. What do you think some of the other challenges are that we face? Like trying to get content that is easily digestible
Yes.
for dance organizations.
Yes. So I think one of the greatest challenges dancers and dance organizations face is just the stigma around dance, and it comes from a disco era, you know what I mean, the 80s, 90s was this real revolution of dance, and dance kind of took a backseat, and I feel that there's a little bit of a stigma still to dance, whereas dance is such a wonderful movement. It's mind, body, and soul. Fitness, your thoughts, your personality. So it's dance is a really powerful tool. I just feel the stigma has put it in the wrong place. So I feel the biggest challenges we're facing is a remarketing and a rebranding of dance in society, so it's a bit more acceptable. Reintroduction into schools and sports, because as it's about to join sport, it's a very important key that it's something that parents can actually appreciate, whereas it's very hard to sell to newcomers because there's no end goal. But we're at that point of building that end goal. And I think also a challenge that the dance industry faces is we give away a lot. We give away too much. Um, Before video and before photography and internet, you could only see that show once. You couldn't replay it or rewind or fast forward. And because of that, we've now basically turned dance into a product, and the product is now everywhere and it's free. And that, I think, is a big problem, is it's free. And people are now losing that experience. So yeah, it's that I would say is the biggest underlying challenge, is that we're giving away a lot for free. And yeah. Smaller challenges would be like just websites, how to market in your local community, how to get involved in your community, and getting parents involved in your studio or organization and interested. I think it's just those basic small steps that a lot of dance organizations face in just establishing themselves, that initial reach, because of the times we are in, it's very difficult to introduce your brand to the new generation because now you have to use Facebook, all these social media platforms, and you have to use radio, TV, and you have all these different advertising means, and just to get yourself known. So it is a very tricky and complicated process in the beginning, but once you iron it out, yeah, it works.
Thank you so much. That's great. It's really useful. All of these little tips. So I mentioned earlier that you're a digital content creator. Can you explain a little bit more about what that is? What does that entail? What do you do?
Okay, so I think the first thing is we provide solutions. That's the main thing. So we approach people who have problems, and so it can be, say, a studio needs more students in their class, and then we look at that as a problem and we say, okay, what are some of the solutions? And from that perspective, that's kind of how we tackle things from digital content creative side. I guess on our end, we're looking at your brand colors, your brand emotions, the voice of your brand. So we are trying to actually like put on the clothes of the brand, so that when we approach this creation of content, we are suiting what is being created. So yeah, as a digital content creative, we basically create videos, take photos, edit photos, do graphic design, websites, blogging, just anything that is creative and basically art online. Yeah.
Okay, so you could be somebody that helps dance organizations, dance studios, a dancer who's trying to navigate social media.
Yes.
You would come in and help them out.
Yes. So that's basically the first company we created, Dance Africa Network, was that exact concept. We wanted to be the guide map into the dance industry, so that when dancers, because originally we were all street dancers and we had no idea of how the industry works, so we were like, okay, well, let's create this communications platform. So we created like Facebook groups and created Instagram hashtags to actually discover each other. So we created like groups for each province on Facebook, and then on Instagram, if you go Dancers in SA, we were the first guys to kind of push this hashtag. And today there's like 24,000 posts for this hashtag. We started in like 2011. Yeah. It's taken about 10 years to get that much, yeah.
This discussion was intriguing and insightful. Thank you for everybody who tuned in, and a huge thank you to our guest. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your knowledge, perspectives, and ideas with our audience and myself. If you would like to just tell us where we can find you on social media and your business name and how to find that.
Thank you so very much, Candice, for having me at the Live to Move discussion. I like it very much. So I'm co-owner of Dance Africa Network. We're the guide map to the dance industry in South Africa and in future in Africa. And we're also a digital marketing agency, and we help big organizations to your small organizations or businesses actually establish a great foothold in the social media industry and online. I am also just a teacher, digital content creative, and I cover events live. That's, I think, one of my favorite things to do. So call me for live broadcasting of your dance event. But yeah, I do a lot, and I'm just always trying to educate myself on all the cool things there are out there on the digital front.
It's very important, and it's really good that you are doing. It just, you know, keeps you up to date and keeps you interesting in the dance world.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And we will be back with different guests and perspectives on dance in South Africa. So keep a lookout for our next vlog. Bye bye for now.
Whoop whoop.